name's Helen, and this is my channel, Helen Mary Jo. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. And if you're a Hell's Bell, hello. I had a nightmare yesterday. I did a huge video, rather a long video, a cooking video, and unbeknownst to me, the microphone stopped working halfway through. So I am recording this video and I'm hoping to kind of edit it in to the video that went disastrously wrong, because I know I promised you these cooking tips, and if I don't get on with them, it'll all be too late in the day. So I've kind of got some things that I want to, like housekeeping things, for want of a better expression, bits and bobs. So one thing I wanted to mention is this, this smart watch that I showed you before, the Passover watch. I'm still wearing it. I love it. And it's good to see how few steps I do every day, except when I do a lot of steps, that I'm really pleased with myself. But the lady that I've been dealing with there, she said a lot of people have put them in their basket and then abandoned the basket. So she was worried that you were concerned about delivery. And generally speaking, it's taken 4 days from order to delivery. So if that's a concern, obviously now it's a bit tight for Christmas. What is it? It's Monday. I'm trying to get this out the same day. So in theory, there's 4 working days till Christmas, but I wouldn't kind of rely on it for Christmas. But anyway, I'll put the link to the video that I first showed you the watch on, and you can have a look at the code and everything that I've got there, which I think will still work. So that was the watch. Now I've got to go and turn the washing machine off. Hold on 1 second. It's that time of year, isn't it? We're all trying to do 50 things at once. So yeah, I just wanted to run through the prep ahead things that I froze in that getting ahead for Christmas video, just for anybody that was a bit concerned about how we manage those things. And I would say, for one thing, once they're defrosted, it's just the same as if they were kind of freshly made. So don't panic. I would personally, if it was kind of mild weather, I probably wouldn't get them out until Christmas Eve night if you can't put them in a fridge. Otherwise, anytime on Christmas Eve, and then just pop them into the fridge if you've got room. But I know fridges are kind of bulging at the seams at this stage of the game. So just let them defrost. The things, if you froze gravy in a bag, or the bread sauce in a bag, or the cranberry sauce in a bag, put that into a bowl, because for some reason in the process of defrosting, it can leach through the plastic. So just put it into a bowl to make sure you don't end up with a mess. And then the cranberry sauce, if it comes out and it's just the right consistency and everything, then that can just go straight into a serving bowl. If you taste it and it needs a little something, then I would suggest just putting it on the hob again and adding a little bit of orange juice if it's too thin, and let it boil for a bit longer. If it's too thick, add some orange juice, and if it's too thin, let it boil for a bit longer till it thickens up. And you might want to put some orange zest in there or something if it needs a little bit of life, or a drop of port or something. Just taste it and see. The bread sauce, similarly, once that's defrosted, I would just put that either into a bowl that I could microwave, or on the hob again to heat through. The gravy, I would definitely put into a saucepan on the hob and bring to a simmer, and taste again to make sure that's okay, and just keep it warm. I showed this in the other video, but I'll show it again because I don't know how this is going to edit. And I bought these a couple of years ago, and I swear by an insulated jug for the gravy, because if the gravy is hot, you can get away with most things. So I've got 2 of these insulated jugs that I bought from Amazon, and if I can find the link, I'll put those on for you. And they really, they're not ugly, but they're not kind of a posh gravy boat that might go with your best china. But it's more important to have hot gravy than a posh jug. That's my tip. The So that's the gravy, the cranberry, the bread sauce. Stuffing, just take, if you've got a tray, lid on the tray, just take that off and put it into the oven until it gets nice and cooked through and kind of the little bits on the top go crispy. That's done probably about 40 minutes on a 175 fan oven. The roast potatoes, personally, I usually start them off with the lid on for about half an hour so they kind of steam a bit more to make sure they get kind of as fluffy as possible. And then I would take everything else out of the oven that doesn't need to be in there and put that up to the highest possible temperature, taking the lid off so they really crisp up. And then the pigs in blankets, I stack those in the foil tray, so they would need to be put out into a single layer on a tray and baked. Well, they're raw, so baked as if you had just made them that day. So if there's anything else you want to know, if you're not clear about it, then just drop me a line in the comments and I will answer. I've answered every single comment that I've had so far. If I've said this before, but if you answer a comment that I've made, I don't get that through as a fresh comment. So if I've overlooked that, I'm sorry. I do try and stay on top of all of those things, but as you can imagine, it's quite a lot. But I do my very best. What else? Oh, in the video where the microphone was still working, I made the Christmas crack, and that's set now, so I should be able to show you how I break that and put it on in the plastic box, you know, the keep like Tupperware box basically, and then a couple of other little things that, you know, people are always looking for tips at this time of year. And one thing I rely on quite heavily at this time of year is pre-made pastry. If you've got a couple of boxes of puff pastry in your ready rolled puff pastry, makes life so much easier. If you've got that in your fridge and you need a snack or something, I mean, if you've got that and a packet of sausages, then look at my sausage roll recipe because they go down a storm. And I will be making shortly some mince pies, and for that I'm using short crust pastry and puff pastry, and I'll tell you why when I make it. You know, you can do all sorts of things. In the video that I'm going to have to kind of do a voiceover because the mic stopped working, I made a Parmesan Christmas tree kind of party food, I guess you'd call it, and that always goes down well. And I did it with pesto and Parmesan, but you can equally, if you want to make a sweet one, you can use Nutella and then just dust it with icing sugar, and that makes a lovely sweet dessert to share. Another dip that I always have these ingredients in the house and it always goes down well, and this is thanks to an old friend of mine called Martine, who I had this at her house probably 15 years ago, and I nicked the idea and I've been doing it ever since. Basically, you want a tub of cream cheese, put my teeth in, a tub of cream cheese, and pop that into a bowl, a shallow bowl, and then I pour the sweet chili. This is a huge bowl from Costco, but a sweet chili sauce all around the cheese so that it kind of forms a moat around the cheese, and then just pop that on the table. And crackers, I usually put a knife with it to save, you know, crumbs going into the cheese or whatever. And that on a little bit of cream cheese with a little bit of chili sauce is delicious on a cracker or breadstick or whatever. That's a great little spread dip. Then I would always have a tub of hummus in the fridge, similarly, and keep it simple. I've said this time and again, but keep it simple. Nobody's looking for, for you to be the next TV chef or whatever. Just keep it simple. Be kind to yourself. It's not a competition. Nobody's coming hopefully for the food. They're coming for the for the ambiance, to be with their friends, family, whatever. So just be easy. Keep it simple. Another thing, those big packs you get of all the different, Italian cold meats like parma ham, salami, and all that. Just make a charcuterie board. Sounds really posh. You just take the meats, and you can actually do it. I did it last year, like as a Christmas tree. You just do a wider and then up through, and then just cubes of cheese, few cocktail sticks and a bit of French bread, and people are happy with that generally. Just keep it simple. A few tomatoes, some cold meats, some olives, some feta or Parmesan cheese cubed. It just goes down well. And if you're doing a more kind of lavish entertainment, again, if it's a dinner for more people, just keep it simple. Again, I don't know what I said in the other video because it was yesterday and I didn't realise until last night that there was no sound, so it's a bit of a nightmare. For my husband's, Rob's 60th, I catered the whole thing for 100 people and made pulled pork, and I just made it all ahead of time and then heated it all up on the day and put it into chafing dishes and served that with soft rolls and salads from Costco and desserts from Costco, and it was great. You know, I didn't have to pay caterers, which can get really expensive, and you know, people are just glad to get some nice food, really. Like, nobody's there to give you marks out of 10, and if they are, then they're not your friends, are they? I put up earlier today, I put up the video of me and the kids and my daughter making a gingerbread train as opposed to a gingerbread house. And there is a funny bit in there that we didn't anticipate, and that was when Billy was putting a little like jelly baby type sweet on the side of the train. He said that one of them was baby Jesus, which we thought was a little bit odd to have a sweet made of baby Jesus. And anyway, when we looked at it at the end, it was actually a candle, but he thought it was a little baby in a swaddling cloth. So, you know, there was no irreverence intended, but it was quite funny and reminded me of when he was small and we went to Bewley and there's a chapel there. Not Bewley, Buckler's Hard, and there's a little chapel there, and we said, oh, come in and see baby Jesus. Baby Jesus is in here. So we went in and we came out and he said, where were they? And we said, what? And he said, the baby cheetahs. He thought we were going to a wildlife park or something. He was a bit disappointed. Anyway, we still tease him about that now. So I just wanted to kind of do a quick kind of run through of what I think I talked about yesterday. This has got really complicated and I'm up against it time-wise, so I'm sorry about that. I had a crazy busy weekend trying to prepare for, I've got 12 sleeping here over Christmas, 12 eating, 12 sleeping. It's like running a hotel. So I've been crazy busy getting all of that stuff done. But my cold seems to have gone at last, even though I never know what pitch my voice is going to be until I open my mouth. But I'll just crack on and do the mince pies with a couple of little tips that I've learned along the way, and I'll stop the video and get set up for that, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thank you. So I'm just going to make some very simple mince pies, which, you know, I'm sure most ladies have done before, but some people just need that little bit of confidence to you know, just to see it done by just like a normal person. So I saw this little tip, can't remember where, so I can't credit whoever it was I saw. And what they had done is, because I want to freeze these mince pies, and so I'm going to put them in the tin, and then when they're frozen, I'm going to pop them out of the tin so that I can get them out easily without them sticking. And this lady had cut strips of baking parchment, and she had just kind of lined the tin with the baking parchment so that when the pies were frozen, she could just lift them out. I thought that was a great idea. So I've stolen that idea from her, whoever she was. I'm happy to give credit. I just honestly don't know. You know, you see things on so many different mediums now, don't you? I say to my husband, he says, oh, I saw so-and-so. And I said, what medium did you see it on? And he's like, I don't know. And I said, well, was it WhatsApp? Was it text message? Was it email? Was it, well, he doesn't do Instagram, but, you know, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. There's so many different mediums, isn't there, to, you know, get messages or see things. So anyway, so I've just done that. I'm just going to make the first few. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use short crust pastry for the base and puff pastry for the top. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is puff pastry is not going to puff with mincemeat on top of it. I like short crust pastry, but puff pastry gives kind of a more impressive finish, I guess, for want of a better expression. So I probably won't use all of this, so I will keep the packet and I'll just put it back in there. And I've got I'd say it's a standard size muffin tin, probably 4 centimetres. It's just a standard size. So I haven't practiced this, so I hope it works. I'm just going to grab a tape. Oh no, I've got a tape here to measure this so that you and I both know for future reference. So that's 9 centimetres or 3.5 inch. So I'm going to cut one and see how that works in this particular pie tin, because if it's wrong, I'll nip and get one that's right. I mean, you know, I wasn't about, with all respect, ladies, I wasn't about to make a load of these just to practice and then find just so I could do them again. So that's fine, that one. So yeah, so this size is fine. Oh, I can't get 3 across there, that's a shame. This pastry was about £1.20, I think, and it does save a lot of aggravation. Oh, I can get, you see that? I can get kind of, just going to tilt the camera down slightly. 5 out of half, and I need 2, 4, 6, 12. So, what's that on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to have a job, you know, to get, anyway, well, I'll see what I can do. One might have to be puff pastry, because I know the puff pastry roll is bigger. Or I don't know what I'm talking about. I can just roll that out and use the offcuts. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's quite big pies, to be honest. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And probably if I re-roll the offcuts, I'll get enough for another 2 bases. But like I say, I could always use the puff pastry. That'd be a good taste test, wouldn't it? So I know you can't kind of see me now, but I think you'd rather see what I was doing, judging from the comments I got on the video where you couldn't see what I was doing. So just pop that in. When I put the mincemeat in, that'll make that go down anyway. I like this idea of the pastry, the paper enabling the lifting out of the pies. That's a great idea. I hope you're all well organised. I tell you what, if I hadn't have got organised ahead of time, I would be panicking right now. But because I got all that prep done in, was it November I did it? I don't know, it's all a blur now. It's meant that I could relax and, you know, because all these jobs, all the getting the house ready and all that really has to happen right at the last knockings, doesn't it, really? So I've got some exciting things happening in the new year that I won't tell you about yet. But yeah, really good stuff, as well as my holiday that I will tell you more about in the new year. It's all booked and paid for now, so there's no turning back. Yeah, all good. So, you know, and the other thing is, my motto now is good enough. As long as everything is good enough, that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not beating myself up. In years gone by, I set myself such high kind of expectations, and the only person that was going to be disappointed was me. So I just don't do that anymore. It's just silly, you know, just silly. So yeah, there's plenty. Oh, I only need one more. What was I? God, you must be thinking the woman can't count. I'm just going to grab the rolling pin. It's got so warm. You know, we went from that freezing cold weather. Just going to put that over. It was so cold, and now I keep thinking the heating's on. Keep checking the heating, thank goodness, because the price of heating in the UK at the moment is absolutely shocking. I got my bill today and it's terrifying, really it is. It's really a sad state of affairs. I don't know how it's all gonna end. That's a little bit thick. See, it's great that it comes on its own paper, this pastry. One oval one for good measure. It'll be fine when it's in there. Just pop that in. So I'll keep that because I've got another little tin, and now I will just add the mincemeat. So I've got a jar of mincemeat here that I've actually had since last year, but that's fine. Doesn't really go off. It's in, you know, it's dried fruit and sugar. Don't overfill them. That's another tip, because they make such a mess when they all spill over. I'm just using a dessert spoon and a teaspoon. And I'd say as long as there's a collar around the edge of kind of 1/2 inch, you're probably okay. Doesn't go far. I couldn't find this jar of mincemeat. I knew I had it, and I was just about to Google make your own mincemeat, and I remembered where it was. Like I say, it's been around since last year. Got a busy week taking my mum to get her hair cut tomorrow, and then we're trying to think what we can do for a new video with her in January. She so enjoyed it. You were all so lovely. You know, anyone will tell you when you get older, and I mean not old, just older, you do become a tad invisible. And at 91, Mum can feel very invisible. And I said this to my friend the other day, and he said, yeah, wait till you're older and disabled, you are completely invisible. Sad, isn't it? Do you know, there's only enough in this jar for these 12 pies, so that was handy. And she so enjoyed it, and she's been a little bit shy about coming on again, but I've told her that she's in great demand, and I think I've convinced her that she needs to come and do another one with me. And I know that you'd all like to see her, judging from your lovely comments last time. So that's the filling ready with the paper to pull them out. And then I'm going to go over to the puff pastry. And there'll be loads of this left because this is a large roll. It's more economical this way. So This has got a sell-by of the 24th of December, I think. So, yeah, so I'll definitely have used this by Saturday. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm not even going to unroll it more than I need to. I'm not going to put a top on this. Well, it's the top, but I'm going to just put a star on. So I'm just going to do one again to make sure, because I haven't practiced. Oh yeah, that's perfect. It's quite a different colour actually. So I'll just cut out. Because I think sometimes you almost have too much pastry in a mince pie. You know what I mean? Pastry compared to filling is a bit much. So I find with a star, it gives you the top, but without the masses of pastry. What I'm going to do, ladies, is I'm going to have to edit this whole video with the video that I did yesterday. And anything I miss, I will put in the comments, not in the comments, in the description box, which there's a little drop down arrow, see more, and that's where any more information will be. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Now I've got to find a place in the freezer that I can open freeze these. And do you know what that means? That means you just leave them on the tray and just put them kind of bare into the oven without anything covering them, and just let them freeze. And then you can pop them into a plastic airtight container and keep them in the freezer. Or, I mean, actually, I could probably make these and just keep them, but they'd get eaten before Christmas if I do that, and I haven't got anybody coming around, I don't think. I had a friend round earlier. I don't think I'm out a lot this week, and when I'm not out, I'm going to be busy cooking and shopping and so on and so forth, all the usual stuff. Rob said, oh, I finish on the 23rd, so I thought, oh, that's good. And then I realised that's the last working day, isn't he? He's not having any extra time off, which I mean, he doesn't get paid if he's not working because he's self-employed, so I'm not complaining. Need the money. So that's the 12 pies all made. They look nice with the stars on, don't they? So I'm going to find room in the freezer and open freeze these, and then when they're frozen, hopefully the paper will help them pop out, and I can put them into a container and put them into the freezer. So I'm just going to roll this pastry up now. Doesn't matter what that looks like, just to get it back in the packet, back in the fridge, and crack on with the next job on my list, which I think is laundry. So I'll get this video edited and get it up to you as soon as I possibly can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.